have come up with a new extreme thrill ride, and yep, it looks terrifying. This new attraction in New Zealand has been under wraps for years, but today thrill seekers got to jump in head first. The human slingshot barely gives you time to scream, with adventurers experiencing 3 Gs of force in just 1.5 seconds. Once you're in the harness, there's no turning back, with people thrown out over the valley at 65 miles an hour. Boom!
How do you get up to that thing?
It's attached to a mountain. You can't see. I don't think. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I guess it makes you feel alive. You know?
Temporarily. See, it's attached.
Oh,
to
there you go.
That's our time for now. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, there are new allegations against the police chief in DeForest. We'll have the latest.
Plus, an investigation is underway as dozens of headstones at a Madison cemetery were vandalized overnight.
And why landlords could be getting fined or something else for that their tenants are leaving behind.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with us at 5. We're learning more tonight about new allegations against the DeForest police chief.
They come as part of a complaint filed with the Village of DeForest Police Commission. News 3's Rose Schmidt has the information just in to our newsroom. Rose?
That's right. Well, the complaint filed today by the village board includes new information from an internal investigation into the police department, and it goes beyond allegations of racist actions made by the chief. The complaint lists 4 counts, including failure to address employee misconduct, inappropriate public communications, conduct detrimental to public confidence in the police department, and improperly disclosing confidential information. Details included say FIRST violated policies when handling a sexual harassment complaint brought by female officers. Chief FIRST has been on paid administrative leave since May after a controversial YouTube video surfaced of him mocking a group of black men. The police commission will decide whether to discipline or possibly terminate Chief FIRST. He denied the severance package that the village offered him last month. The village board is meeting tomorrow night to talk about a new severance agreement with the chief.
All right, Rose Schmidt, thanks for that update.
There are changes happening in the I-3990 construction zone in Rock County this week.
Despite it being a major construction site, things are actually getting quieter for some residents. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter talked to those who have this project literally in their backyards. Adam?
Well, it's the tried and true story of short-term pain for a long-term payout. And that's what's going on in Janesville as people wait for this sound barrier wall to be finished.
Right where that stuff overgrown there, that was where our fence began.
Salvatore Zurillo recently had the fence in his backyard taken out.
Well, I got up in the morning and didn't even realize the fence was gone. We let our dog out, Gunner, and Gunner never came back.
Sal knows now that his fence was removed to make room for a sound barrier to be installed behind it, a result of a Highway 39 expansion.
We're working on expanding that to 4 lanes in each direction. Right now we're working on the northbound side, and adjacent to those new northbound lanes we're adding noise barriers.
But for the people who live next to the sound barrier, the concept of 4 lanes of traffic behind them will take some getting used to.
There still is sound, but the sound is somewhat diminished.
John Jenks also has a dog and said he needed to find a way to temporarily block a hole in the fence the construction had left. But still, he's pleased.
I was surprised how fast that the DOT has actually put this together.
And as for Sal, he's ready for the project to be over as well.
It's early morning. You hear the construction workers going at it, you know, and they're coming along pretty fast. This has only been day 4 these posts have been in. They're moving along fairly quickly.
Now, this portion of the construction is expected to be completed by the fall. Drivers in the area, well, they're going to notice something new as well. Near Edgerton, the crossover areas where one lane goes from the left to the right, those have changed as well, and officials told me they've seen an uptick in accidents since then. And just another reminder to drive slow, give the person in front of you plenty of space, and to pay attention as you're driving.
Good advice. Adam Duxter live in our bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Madison police are investigating a daytime shooting that happened today on the west side.
Officers say it happened in the 3600 block of Cross Street. A witness says they saw two passengers holding handguns outside of a car's window and firing into the air right before noon. No property damage has been found and there were no reports of injuries, but officers did find shell casings. Police say the gunmen were believed to be traveling in a tan Toyota Prius. It was last seen headed toward Odana Road. Police are investigating after a child was hit by a vehicle in a Wisconsin Dells hotel parking lot Tuesday evening. Lake Delton police were called to the parking lot of the Hotel Rome along the Wisconsin Dells Parkway around 4:30 in the afternoon. Bystanders and hotel staff were giving the child first aid when crews arrived. The child was taken to a local airport to be airlifted to a hospital. Condition is unclear. Lake Delton police and the Wisconsin State Patrol are still investigating, but don't believe alcohol was a factor.
Some of Madison's grave sites from the 1800s were vandalized overnight.
Police are looking for the person or group responsible for damaging some of the city's history. Amanda Quintana is here with more on the investigation. Amanda?
Yes, well, about a dozen headstones at the historic Forest Hill Cemetery were cracked or damaged. A total of 36 were apparently knocked over in the middle of the night. A cemetery employee found the damage this morning. Most of the toppled over headstones are from the 1800s. Police say it appears to be random and not a hate crime, since the Confederate and Jewish areas of the cemetery were left untouched.
It sounds like we had likely more than one person, because some of these are pretty heavy, got in there and toppled headstones. And so again, in the moment, in the middle of the night, you think this is something that's entertaining for you. You probably are not realizing the impact this is going to have on the people who love that cemetery, and particularly those who have loved ones who are buried there.
There are no surveillance cameras in the cemetery, so there aren't any leads yet, but police are looking at nearby businesses near Speedway Road. If you saw anything last night, you are asked to contact Madison Police. Now, the City Parks Department owns that cemetery, and a representative tells me they're disappointed, but they're working with MPD in this investigation, and they will be able to pay for the damages instead of leaving it up to the families of their ancestors, really.
If there's any good news out of all that, it's that.
Yes.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Let's get a first check on the weather now. Gary Canolti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Yeah, actually a pretty nice day today, Susan. Temperatures are a little bit warmer, though, and they'll stay warm now for the foreseeable future. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see some early morning low clouds and fog right there, just kind of giving way to sunshine for much of the day today, and that warm temperatures up. On Doppler track, there are some thunderstorms up near Lake Superior. These will stay to the north of Madison, so things pretty quiet across southern Wisconsin. Low temperatures this morning, again, were right around the 60-degree mark. A few places were in the upper 50s. A few places were in the lower to middle 60s. Current temperatures, though, are generally in the 80s away from Lake Michigan, and even there, temperatures are close to the 80-degree mark. La Crosse right now at 87 degrees. Dew point temperatures, though, remain in the mid-60s to around 70 degrees, so it feels a few degrees warmer than the actual temperature. Look for temperatures to drop into the middle 60s by early tomorrow morning. There could be a little bit of patchy fog. Tomorrow, look for partly sunny skies. There's a chance of a shower or thunderstorm late in the day, especially south of Madison. High temperature topping out at 85. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. We are less than a week away from Madison Move-Out Day.
Landlords are asking tenants to properly dispose of items so as renters move away, they're not stuck holding a bill. Our Keely Arthur has the details. Keely?
Well, move-out day can be a big headache, but if everyone follows the rules, things can go much smoother. The city and property owners are reminding tenants to properly dispose of goods. Now, most appliances, including microwaves, require a fee to be picked up, or you can drop them off at the city drop-off sites. Televisions, computers, and laptops must be sent to that drop-off site directly.
There's a lot of electronic stuff that's actually banned from the landfills. Things like televisions, computers. There's stuff that you just can't throw away that you should recycle by law. And plus, it's just the right thing to do.
Now, if renters don't do that, landlords get stuck not only having to pay that initial collection fee, but they may also get an additional fine from the city. For details on how to properly recycle your items and how much it's going to cost you, go to cityofmadison.com.
Thank you, Keely.
City leaders and law enforcement officials are coming together to discuss reducing the jail population in Madison. Mayor Paul Soglin and Madison Police Chief Mike Koval are releasing new data about arrests in the city. They say that there's been a significant decline in the number of arrests within the last 2 years. Although there has been a decline, Chief Koval says more needs to be done.
Getting too many kids at age 17 thrust into an adult criminal justice system for which they are not being well served, and they're being labeled far too early as people with a criminal record. I would really like to see the legislative forces that will put that back to age 18 for original adult courts of jurisdiction. I think that would be a huge legislative win.
With arrests going down, Mayor Soglin says violent arrests haven't changed.
Primary election day is Tuesday, and there are a lot of candidates and races on your ballot.
Political reporter Jessica Hart breaks down in 60 seconds what you should know before you head to the polls.
First thing to know, this is a partisan primary, so you'll need to pick one party to vote for on Tuesday. That doesn't mean you need to be a registered member of a party. It just means you need to vote a straight party ticket. So when you get your ballot, you'll choose Republican or Democratic or a third party, and you'll vote only in those races. You'll find multiple statewide races on your ballot Tuesday. The first is the race for governor. There are 8 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the ticket. You'll vote separately for lieutenant governor. There are 2 Democrats and 1 Republican running in that race. There are also statewide elections for state treasurer and secretary of state, and there are multiple candidates running on both sides. The primary for attorney general only has 1 candidate on each side. We'll also vote in the race for U.S. Senate. There are multiple candidates running only on the Republican side. Who you should vote for, of course, is up to you. We've got more information on many of these races and candidates on channel3000.com.
And there are also local primary races on some ballots. You can find your ballot and your polling place at myvote.wi.gov.
Madison Rotary will get an update today on a major donation club members made to the city's newest school. The goal behind the $100,000 donation to the One City School was to help close Madison's achievement gap for students of color. The grant helped launch a new free public charter school this summer, and the principal says they work to develop and maintain community partnerships that benefit children, parents, families, and team members through consistent outreach, advocacy, and transparency. It's all about starting kids young, getting them reading ready by the time school comes around.
Students are engaged because they're involved in things that they're interested in. You know, it's not a revolutionary concept that when you're interested in what you're doing, you're going to do well, you know, and it's not revolutionary that kids learn through play. The thing is that we're kind of taking that as our foundation and expanding on it.
One City is a nonprofit school.
There's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, a Republican New York congressman has been indicted on charges that he used inside information to make illicit stock trades.
Plus, Paul Manafort's trial continues. What an FBI forensic scientist is saying about foreign bank accounts she found that are connected to Manafort.
But first, let's take a look at Wall Street. The Dow Industrial is down 45 points. The NASDAQ up 4. The S&P 500 was down a fraction. We'll be right back. A Republican congressman from New York and early supporter of President Trump is now facing insider trading charges.
Republican Congressman Chris Collins surrendered to the FBI today on charges of insider trading and lying to federal agents. While representing New York's 27th district, Collins served as a board member for Innate, a publicly traded biotech company that was developing a drug for multiple sclerosis. According to the 30-page indictment, the congressman violated the duties he owed Innate by passing material, non-public information about the company's failed drug test to his son, Cameron Collins.
Cameron and a few select others could trade on the news while the investing public remained in the dark.
In all, federal prosecutors allege those who used Congressman Collins' insider information avoided more than $750,000 in losses.
Rick Gates wrapped up his testimony today in the trial of his former business partner and friend, Paul Manafort. Manafort's lawyer, Kevin Downing, pushed Gates on how many times he met with prosecutors to talk about a plea deal and prepare for the trial. Downing even asked Gates if he recalled telling the special counsel's office he engaged in 4 extramarital affairs. Gates has testified he committed financial crimes, including tax evasion and bank fraud, at Manafort's direction. An FBI forensics expert took the stand saying she found 31 foreign bank accounts that listed Manafort, Gates, or a Russian-Ukrainian political consultant who's suspected of having ties to Russian intelligence as the beneficial owners.
The November election will bring a record number of women on the ballot. So far, 11 women have been nominated for governor. According to the Center for American Women in Politics, that's a record for a single election year. There's also a record in U.S. House races with at least 185 women nominated so far. That includes Michigan Democrat Rashida Tlaib, who won her primary and is uncontested in November, which means she will be the first Muslim woman in Congress.
One thought is that more women in a legislative body will be more likely to sit down and just hammer it out as opposed to getting their matcha up and just fighting to the end.
As of now, only 6 states have women governors, but this year's nominees are taking aim at that glass ceiling.
Let's head outside now to the patio. Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi. We've got the sun back. Temperatures are warmer, and it looks like we'll stay now in the 80s from today all the way through the end of next week. As we start out by taking a look, first of all, at a graphic here, we're looking for pictures for our 2019 Wisconsin weather calendar. If you have a picture, make sure you send it in by the end of this month to weathercalendar@WISC-TV.com. Send it in a horizontal format, as high resolution as possible. A few people have tried to have sent us pictures where they've printed them off. We prefer to, if you have any way of doing it, just sending them digitally, because otherwise they have to be scanned and they lose a lot in the process. So if you can send them to us digitally through the email address you see there, weathercalendar@WISC-TV.com, that's probably the best way to get the pictures to us. Now, the visible cloud track, that's a pretty picture there. Lots of sunshine. A couple of thunderstorms up near Lake Superior, but those will stay to our north. On Doppler track, you don't see anything really up there to even be concerned of here. But temperatures are going to stay warm for the next week or so. You can see the high temperature trend. Temperatures mainly in the lower to middle 80s. The average high temperature is around 80 degrees. So we're going to continue with that warm trend, at least for the foreseeable future. Live view for the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, showing plenty of sunshine there. The WISC Skycam showing sunshine here on the west side of Madison, and the Edgewater Skycam on downtown Madison, reflecting the sun off the southern end of Lake Mendota. Almanac for today, high temperature so far 81, low temperature 60, very close to the averages of 80 and 60. And right now we're still at 81, winds now out of the west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. Dew point temperature still in the middle 60s, so it is a little humid out there. As we take a look at tropical weather track, we continue to watch Hurricane Hector. This is passing south of the Hawaiian Islands now, almost due south of the Big Island of Hawaii. Top winds right now down to 115 miles per per hour. We're probably producing some swells in and around the Hawaiian Islands. Latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center takes it on that westerly path as a strong Category 2 hurricane and then continues it out into the central Pacific Ocean all the way out as we head into the early part of next week. So that storm is going to continue for a while longer. Temperatures around the upper part of the Midwest, generally upper 70s to the middle 80s. The winds generally pretty light in the 8 to 15 mile per hour range. They are shifting to the north in northern Minnesota where there's a weak cold front. That will drop southward across southern Wisconsin tomorrow afternoon and perhaps touch off a shower or a thunderstorm. Upper level winds now a little more northwesterly, but still the air is very warm out to the west. So that's still bringing in quite a bit of warm air across much of the Midwest. That cold front up to the north, again, touching off a few thunderstorms. North of the front, temperatures are in the middle 70s in northern Minnesota. South of the front, generally in the 80s to around 90. That's what we'll be seeing for tomorrow as well. 64 for the overnight low temperature tonight with partly cloudy skies. Could see some patchy fog form, probably not as widespread as last night. Tomorrow, partly sunny, very warm and humid, high 85. Heat index in the upper 80s, but could see a thunderstorm develop, mainly south of Madison in the afternoon. Future track, quiet night tonight, maybe a little patchy fog, low temperatures middle 60s. Tomorrow, partly sunny. Again, as that weak cold front moves southward, a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm, mainly south of Madison. Highs mid 80s. Those would end tomorrow evening. Then low temperatures drop into the lower 60s. On Friday, a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm popping up in the afternoon. High temperatures in the lower 80s. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures stay right in the 80s through the weekend. A little less humidity for the weekend, but that starts to return early next week and will lead to a chance for some thunderstorms from Tuesday into Wednesday, possibly Thursday. And then another cold front toward the end of next week will drop temperatures at the beginning of the following weekend. As we take a look at first alert traffic, big delays right now on the Beltline, especially the eastbound direction. That's the view at Fish Hatchery Road. You can see that there are all the red from I-3990 all the way back to Verona Road. That's because of an accident right at I-3990 in the left lane. 53 minutes right now if you're heading eastbound on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, only 19 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, once you get on I-3990 heading southward toward Janesville, 28-minute commute, 20 minutes out to Sauk City on US 12 to, or from Middleton, and US 151 to Sun Prairie, about an 18-minute trip. That is your first alert traffic.
Wow, stay away from the Beltline.
That's 2 days in a row.
53 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. You got an accident right at the interstate that's backed up all the way to Verona Road.
Doesn't take much. All right, Gary, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Ahead on News 3 at 5, scammers are now figuring out how to use gift cards before the buyer does. We'll have that story when we come back.
Well, authorities say gift card scams continue to be a growing problem.
Ginger Allen found that out firsthand.
This is where many of us pick the perfect present. And I learned the hard way, this is also where criminals like to lurk. I sent my dad a gift card to Outback Steakhouse for Father's Day. But when he tried to use it at this restaurant in California, the manager said the card had a zero balance. So we tracked the package and the card activity and learned while the gift card was being shipped to my dad, someone else was already using it at an Outback in Dallas to buy drinks and appetizers. The Dallas location told us the customer had the card number and PIN, and both had been keyed in, a common practice when a customer does not have the card in hand.
How did they get my card and PIN number?
Some of them will just do really old school way. They'll go into the establishment, they'll start writing down numbers.
Attorneys with the Federal Trade Commission say this is called gift card draining. We searched several stores and found while some cards hide the numbers and PINs, others are easy to see.
You can see the PIN on every one.
Some require a scratch off.
Scratch here for CID.
Or have a silver zebra-like sticker covering the PIN.
So the next question is, how do the thieves know when the cards have money?
Some of them, again, depending on the level of sophistication, will just go online, do it by hand. Others have developed custom written software. That software will then return the result to the hacker and say, here are the card numbers that have been activated, and here's the money that you can now use.
Outback tells us we changed the way we produced gift cards last year to cover the PIN number. However, older cards may still be found on shelves. Of course, if this happens, we fully reimburse our customers. That includes my dad, who can now enjoy my gift. Ginger Allen for CBS News, Dallas.
The Retail Gift Card Association says it now recommends that retailers use packaging which covers and protects magnetic strips and gift card pins.
Well, another check of the weather when we come back. Gary's here now. One final check of the weather. It's August.
Yeah, we got the sun back. Temperatures are right back in the 80s. These are current temperatures. 81 right now in Madison, 87 in La Crosse, 84 in Boscobel. Dew point temperatures are in the middle 60s, so still pretty humid out there. Heat index values in the lower 80s, as warm as 90 in La Crosse, but the 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures stay right where they are, low to mid 80s. Thunderstorm chance tomorrow afternoon, mainly south of Madison, maybe on Friday as well. And then you'll have to wait till next week for the next chance of rain.
All right, thank you, Gary. Thanks for watching, everybody. The CBS Evening News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.